Yeah, what's up? What's up? All right. The title of today's discussion is Reprogram Your Mind to Manifest the Life You Actually Want. The second part of this is you distract or you digest distraction and wonder why you can't hear God. All right. We're going to talk about programming today in a different way. I want you to look at your body, your mind, really. I want you to look at your mind as code. Right? You have 60,000 thoughts per day. Each of those thoughts is writing a line of code in your reality. Where are your thoughts coming from? Are they coming from the media? Are they coming from music? Are they coming from your parents' influence? Are they coming from your friends? Are they coming from people you do not want to be like, people who do not give a damn about you? All right? A lot of people sit around and most of their thoughts aren't even theirs. They're just a whole bunch of other people's thoughts, other people's goals, other people's beliefs and expectations. And then you wonder why you struggle, right? You wonder why you struggle to walk through life clear, to see your goals clearly, to manifest what you want clearly. Of course, this is going to be the case if your mind is not your own. So we're going to talk about it today. So the verse we are going to focus on is Isaiah 43, 18 through 19. Do not remember the former things. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. All right. And so let's start this off. Oh, shoot. I'm not live on Instagram, of course. My bad. All right. So let's start this off, man. You think you're making choices, but are you? Or are you just walking? You think you're making choices, but are you? Or are you just a walking echo of everything you've absorbed? The voice in your head, does it belong to you? Or is it your father's fear, your mother's worry, your job's quarterly goals, the choices that the media serves to you as an illusion of freedom? We carry codes that we never consented to. Beliefs etched into the soul by repetition and not revelation. We live on autopilot, chasing borrowed dreams, defending installed limitations, mistaking programming for personality. If your thoughts are the blueprint of your reality, ask yourself who is writing the code. You scroll through fear, you bathe in noise, you digest distraction and wonder why you can't hear God. But the divine doesn't shout. It waits in the silence beneath the static. Until you clean the mirror of your mind, you will reflect the world and not your soul. This is not a call to add more, but to subtract the false, to empty what you were taught so truth can reintroduce you to yourself, because the real you is not programmed. The real you is powerful. We have to understand that we are operating right now in a collective consciousness, meaning all of our consciousness right now is creating reality. And if everybody was on the same page and was on board with harmony and love and peace and was going within, it was understanding that they are source, was talking to their I am awareness, the structures of the world would collapse. But this is why we have programming. So certain things can be upheld, right? This is why you are flooded with celebrities and influencers who do not give a damn about you. Say things that are against, completely opposite of the lifestyle that they're actually living. And we in the clubs and we in the bars dancing to that stuff, all right? And what we are doing when we are reciting these lyrics, when we are looking at the news, tell us that, all right, you have a choice of these two politicians or these three politicians, right? With the illusion of freedom, right? What we are doing is we are just crowding our thoughts. Every time that you are taking this outside noise and you're implementing it into your hardware up here, all right? All you are doing is you are limiting your ability to make your own choices, to exercise your own discernment, right? To actually write the code of your own life when we're focused on everything else. All right, so clearing the cache, reclaiming your mind to manifest what's truly yours. So Romans 12:2, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your own mind. Mistype that. All right, so we often think manifestation begins with vision boards and affirmations, but manifestation doesn't start with what you speak. It starts with what you think repeatedly. If the mind is a garden, whose seeds have you been watering? If every thought is a line of code, whose software are you running? All right, so you have 60,000 thoughts a day. How many of them are yours? When's the last time you really ran inventory and you started to check on your beliefs? Because most of our beliefs, right, whether we become conscious or not, most of our beliefs are not going to be ours. How many of those beliefs are actually aligned with how you want to live your life, what you want to experience? If you understand that your beliefs and your expectations create your life, then are you challenging beliefs every chance that you can get? Are you challenging your pastor's beliefs? Are you challenging your mother's beliefs, your father's beliefs, right? Your friend's beliefs, your spouse's beliefs, right? Your own beliefs, the beliefs that you read in books, the beliefs that you scroll by on the internet. Are you challenging all of these? Are you actually doing an audit of your own mind and saying, okay, is this in alignment with what I want to experience? If I don't want to experience it, then why am I believing it? If I truly believe that I am source and I know, right, that my I am awareness is what's creating my reality, then why would I let a single thought, a single assumption, a single expectation pass into my consciousness without challenging it? This is really your only job, is to guard your thoughts. This is why your mind is always under attack. How? Food, number one. All right? Most people are slaves to food. They can't control what they put in their mouths. Right? You walk around and you are constantly consuming all of these chemicals that are putting you in a fog. Most people walk around with parasites within them. Right? If you've ever Googled or looked up a parasite, these things look like demonic entities. And what they actually do is when you're eating too much meat, too much processed food, these parasites get within you and they start releasing chemicals. And what these chemicals do is they make you more sluggish, right? They make you think more negatively, right? They cloud up your mind. They impact your memory. And then what happens when you stop feeding them and you try to get on a healthy diet, you try to fast, what happens? You start struggling. You feel weaker. You feel even more moody, okay? Because they release more chemicals. And those chemicals that they release impact your mind. This is why after a certain amount of days, people start cleaning out their body, right? They start fasting. They start clearing up their diet. Then all of a sudden their memory gets better. Their focus gets better. Why is this? Because your body is returning to its natural state of being. You no longer have these entities, right, in your body controlling you. All right? So we have food on one hand. What else do we have? Most people's sexual discipline is out of control. Their lust, right? They're constantly guided by their lower nature. Right? This is why these explicit sites are free. This is why everybody's being pushed, right, to jump on the OnlyFans and do all these types of things. Why? Right? Because when your mind is in this state of being overrun by lust, right, you don't think clearly. You're less than yourself. Okay? And now you're being pushed all these things. Your emotions are constantly being played with. Your mind is constantly being played with by the media. We all know people that if you say a name of a politician right now, they will immediately go negative. They can talk, y'all can bond over your hatred about somebody who doesn't give a damn about you, who's never met you, who doesn't know you, who could care less if you exist. If you drop down dead right now, they wouldn't give a damn about you, right? But they can take your mind and have you run off. Why are you giving your power away like this, right? The music you listen to, constantly looping affirmations, right? We call it a hook, chorus, right? Just affirmations over and over again, changing your beliefs about the opposite gender, changing your beliefs about yourself, changing your beliefs about your goals, right? Promoting a lifestyle that most of them don't even abide by, right? But we consume this and we go sit in the club and we bob our head to this, right? And then we go home and your ears are still ringing from those affirmations. And then you go to sleep thinking about those affirmations. And then you wake up wondering why I didn't even drink and I still feel sluggish the next day. How? Right? Even the frequency that these sounds are played over, right? It's meant to lower your consciousness, right? So we have to be mindful of what we are listening to, right? We have to be mindful of which one of your thoughts are yours. Is it really beneficial for you to carry all your mother's worries with you still? She had the best intentions for you. She loved you, no fault of hers, no fault of your father's, right? But they only knew what they knew, all right? So is it really good for you to carry their limitations and fears right now? Right? So we have all these things in the world that are constantly trying to get in your mind, constantly saying, all right, look, we're going to keep them distracted. We're going to keep them in this low vibration. We're going to keep them operating in their lower nature. Huh? So we often think manifestation begins with vision boards and affirmations, but manifestation doesn't start with what you speak. It starts with what you think repeatedly. If the mind is a garden, whose seeds have you been watering? If every thought is a line of code, whose software are you running? All right. So you cannot manifest the life you desire with a mind full of someone else's programming. You cannot download destiny when your spiritual hard drive is corrupted with fear, comparison, and unworthiness. All right. This is why you even get on social media and you scroll right now. Right? And once you scroll, you start scrolling, you'll realize you'll find yourself comparing yourself to other people. All you're seeing is a snapshot, a moment in their life that you don't even know is real or not, right? You can catch yourself comparing. You can catch yourself thinking less of yourself, all right? You can catch yourself entertaining thoughts that are not beneficial for you, beliefs and expectations that aren't in alignment with you. We see this all the time, right? People get out of breakups, and what happens? They get on social media, and they're in a negative headspace. They've been hurt by a man. They've been hurt by a woman. And all of a sudden, you hear someone who speaks to that pain. And because they speak to that pain, and boom, y'all resonate, right? All of a sudden, it allows you to put this blanket, right, over an entire gender. It puts you deeper and deeper into chaos. It puts you into an expectation that you don't even want. You start thinking, oh, I just have to be realistic. What does that mean? Oh, I just have to be negative is what you're really saying, right? We see this all the time, right? Men just get more bitter and bitter going down the wrong path because of social media. Women get more bitter and bitter going down the wrong path because of social media, right? Trying to figure out how to take advantage of each other, right? Painting the expectation. Basically, you are taking an expectation and then you're giving everybody in your life the script. You're just handing it out, saying, all right, here, y'all follow this script. Okay? And people have to do it because consciousness, because your I am awareness, because the source within you, the God within you says yes to everything, right? Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. Right, so the mind is the gateway. Proverbs 23:7, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The mind is not just an organ. It is the gateway between heaven and earth. It's the gateway between heaven and earth, your mind, okay? Between divine potential and manifested form. When your mind is cluttered, your reality becomes chaotic. When your mind is borrowed, your purpose becomes buried. We often talk about manifesting and conscious creating. And what I always talk about is discipline, accountability, the ability to confront yourself. All right? This is a journey of you versus you. Every moment you are facing you. You're facing your old beliefs, whether you thought of them or not, whether it's your fault or not. Right? We have to get over ourselves. We have to get over the part of us that says, oh, no. But I went through this. Woe is me. Right? We have to confront all of these different parts of us. One other aspect of this, of confronting yourself, is confronting all the things that you do in your day-to-day life. Right? Because the world has this funny way of defining quote unquote sin as things that line up to some kind of religious doctrine. Right? When religion is just a man-made construct, right? But when we talk about sin, I want you to talk about your chief goals. If your chief goal, right, is this divine counterpart, is finding your soulmate, is having this beautiful relationship, is all the music that you listen to conducive to that? Right? Are you conscious enough to filter out the beliefs that you want and the beliefs you don't want? Right? Is all of the media that you listen to conducive to that? If you want a lot of money and you want it in a certain way, right? Whether it's grinding it out in a business, if you want it in a different way, is the music you listen to conducive to that? Are the influences that you have in your life conducive to that? Right? Are the beliefs you're still holding on from your parents, right? Are they conducive to what you want? If not, challenge them, break them down, deconstruct them. Okay? It's time to move on. It is time to look that old version of you that had those beliefs. Look at that old version of you. Go to the mirror, look that old version of you in the eyes and say, thank you for getting me this far. And I'm going to make us proud from here on out. But you no longer can be here. Huh? You are not broken, right? You are overstimulated. You are not lost. You are distracted. You have 60,000 thoughts a day. If you want to get to your goals, if you truly want the life that your soul descended down here to experience, then what you need to do is you have to be as conscious as you can of as many of those as you can, right? And if 10,000 are you just reciting future lyrics, right, unconsciously for most of the day, if another 5,000 are memes that you're reciting, if another 10,000 are your parents' beliefs, then how many of these are yours? Okay? You're spending 2 hours watching Netflix, 3 hours on the news, 8 hours at the job. You know what I'm saying? How much of that time is spent on you? How many of those 60,000 thoughts? Each one of those is a line of code. It's a line of code programming this reality that you are in. Okay? How many of those are actually for you? Are pushing your life towards where you want to go? How many of those are actually trying to pull you in the wrong direction? Okay? So we live in an attention economy. Whoever owns your attention owns your manifestation. Whoever owns your attention owns your manifestation. This is programming. This is why the world is throwing all this shit at you. News, politics, all right? Sports even. All of this shit is just separating, dividing your mind. So as a collective consciousness, one of the things that's happening is as a collective consciousness, we are manifesting this reality all together. Hey, all of us are manifesting this together. But as an individual, how come most people's lives are very similar? Why do most people hit the age of 26 and from the age of 26 until they retire, they damn near in a time loop? Work the same types of jobs, do the same shit on the weekend, right? Most people do the same types of things, argue about the same things. Center of their conversation is about the same things, right? About the job, right? About politics, right? About what the pastor said, right? And then they get to the end of their life and they pass away, right? It is programming everybody to really maintain this type of societal structure that we're in right now, okay? So who owns your attention? What gods do you unconsciously worship each scroll, each click, each comparison, right? This is what scripture means when it says, I am God, and there is no other. Right? Your I am awareness. Your mind is this is reality. You are reality, right? What you are entertaining in your consciousness, what you are declaring yourself to be, consciously and unconsciously. So if you have a bunch of outside influences, a bunch of outside music, outside news, sowing fear in your mind, right? Talking about the economy, right? This is another thing. I just had a client the other day, right? When they came to me, I want this job and I've been, manifesting, but the economy. Whoa. What does the economy have to do with your reality? You are the creator. It is your beliefs. If you are conscious of that, if you are the one that is aware that, the economy is bad, guess what? Reality says yes, and it mirrors back an economy, right? That makes it difficult for you. But there's plenty of people right now They're not complaining about money. Y'all are in the same experience, living different realities. It is about your awareness, right? Which of these beliefs is worth holding on to? The ones that are against you, the ones that are not in alignment with what you want, let them go, man. Let them go. Let them go, right? We make false idols of things. When we start to when we start to look at this external world like it is real, and we start to attach to one situation we don't like, and we say, the economy, yeah, you're making that your idol. Now you believe that that is God, and you are just a byproduct of it. You are at mercy of that thing. I shall have no false idols, right? It is your I am awareness. You are the source. Everything else is a projection from within you. And because you created it, you can choose to change it just like that. You can change it, huh? You can change it, all right? I'm gonna address that. I like that comment. I'm gonna address that. You don't want. Maybe you do want out, but you don't. Y'all, on a soul level, you don't. All right. So thought as code, reality as software. All right. So imagine each thought as a line of code. Each one shapes the operating system of your life experience. But what happens when 95% of that code is written by someone else? All right. You wake up and check your phone. Influence. What is the first thing that you do in the morning? You wake up just so you have a fresh slate, right? You just went into this deep sleep. Your soul was able to liberate itself. Your diet's clean. Your soul was able to liberate itself in your body, travel to astral planes, right? Bring back some lessons in the form of dreams, allow you to confront yourself. And then you wake up to this fresh start, right? You wake up, you're in theta for a second, then you get back into alpha. Before you even get into beta brain waves, your ass is on the phone getting programmed. Reminding yourself of who you were yesterday and the reality that you didn't like yesterday. You're already just reprogramming yourself. And then you get up, already pissed off about the day. And of course, the day has no chance to recover from then because you've already set up the table of, I want the same shit. You know what? Let me go look at the same shit I looked at yesterday because I want the same shit today. What is the first thing that you do in the morning? Right? Do you wake up and check your phone first? Or do you wake up and you decree how your day is going to be? Today is going to be a day of divine awakening, of delicious opportunities, of beautiful moments, right? Of miracles. I choose to only see miracles today. Waking up and breathing, this first breath is a miracle. Still having my consciousness, this is a miracle. Right? Being able to call my mother in a second, this is going to be a miracle. Right? Just being able to walk through life is a miracle. Okay? Every moment is a miracle. The moment that you start to think about it, your mother and father laid down and you popped out. You popped out and now, look at your ass, grown and walking around. This is a miracle. Every moment is a miracle. You created the situations in your life that you do not want to face today. That's still a miracle. They're from you. And you should look at them as such. If I created them, I can choose differently. All right? You drive to work with the radio on. Another influence. I'm not saying just not listen to music, not listen to those things. But I'm saying how much of this time are you actually consciously aware of the thoughts, of the beliefs, of the expectations that you are planting in your mind? Every thought, every expectation is a program. So are you spending most of your time programming yourself, or are you allowing the world to do it? One or the other is going to do it. Either you are going to be the main one programming, you're going to be the one in control, or it's going to be other people. If you are not consciously creating your reality, guess what? You're going to get pulled into other people's reality. Choose one. Do you want to be the bystander in other people's reality, the side character in their reality, or do you want to be the main character in yours? Okay. You sit in meetings bombarded by goals that aren't yours. This is another influence. All right. I'm not saying to get up and quit now, right? Do what you got to do to make your money. But if you are spending let's say 6 hours in meetings, 6 hours focusing on other people's goals. Are you consciously aware of your goals during that time? Are you taking time when you're at home to program yourself, to do your affirmations, right? To speak highly of yourself, to focus on the things that you want, to keep front and center in your mind the things that you already have that have been projected from within you that you are walking down the path to receive. Okay? By the end of the day, whose consciousness are you living inside? All right? Whose consciousness are you living inside by the end of the day? Is it your consciousness? Or is it the media's consciousness, your parents' consciousness, right? Your friend's consciousness, your spouse's consciousness, all right? So you've become a background character in someone else's simulation. But here is the good news. You can rewrite the code, right? Verily, verily, I say unto you, whatsoever you ask in the Father's name shall be given to you. Whatever you ask in the Father's name will be given to you, right? Until now, you've asked for nothing. Hitherto, you've asked for nothing. Meaning, it doesn't matter what you've been doing for the last 20 years, 10 years, 5 minutes. Doesn't matter. What matters is who you are conscious of being right now. Right now is all that matters. Okay? The past are just thoughts. The future are just thoughts. Right? They change all the time. Right? Who are you being right now? This is what matters. All right? You can uninstall old beliefs. You can clear the cache, right? So Luke 17:21, the kingdom of God is within you, but the world has trained you to look for it everywhere else. All right? So Rumi, quote from Rumi, okay? You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? You cannot fly when your mind is chained to programming. It's very difficult for you to ascend if your mind is chained down. Okay? Every belief that you do not want to experience. Right? Everything that's just clouding your mind. Right? This is just a chain that is keeping you from ascending to the goals that you want. All right? Your subconscious doesn't manifest what's good, it manifests what's familiar. Right? Your mind manifests, forget the subconscious, let me take that out. All right? Your mind manifests what you are conscious of being right now. All right? What you are conscious of being right now. So to manifest something new, you must make the unconscious conscious. So here's some questions for you, right? A couple of reflection questions. Number one, whenever you have a belief, all right, I really want you to question it. Does this belief lead me to experience the life that I want? All right? If not, I want you to ask, who gave me this belief? Who gave me this belief? All right. And then is this belief, if you do not want to, you already know the answer to this, but is this belief actually true for me? All right. Do I want to hold on to this belief, knowing that holding on to this belief means I'm going to continue to experience the mirror of reality, reflecting back situations that prove this belief to me? Okay? Number two, whenever you have a goal, is this goal mine, or am I trying to prove something to someone else? Is this goal coming from you, or is it coming from your mother, from your father, from your friends, from your exes? Right? Who is this goal coming from? And then number three, do I consume information to feel empowered or to avoid myself? So the moment that we step into accountability and we actually start to take ownership over our lives, this is the moment that we can change. This is really where the work begins. The moment of self-accountability is where the work begins. All right? So next quote, I searched for God and found only myself. I searched for myself and found only God. All right? When we're out in the world, all right, you can take this a whole bunch of ways. When we're out in the world, when we're, searching through scripture and we're going through the temples and, when we're trying to find things out in the world, trying to find purpose in politics, trying to find purpose in music, right? Trying to find entertainment or leisure in music and in the clubs and women or all those things. When we search anywhere outside of ourselves for validation, all we find is more of us, confronting us, because everything outside of us is just a mirror. It's just a reflection of you anyway. So you're just going to constantly run into yourself over and over and over again until you make the decision to go within. And it's when you actually start going within, you start cutting down the noise, you start challenging beliefs, you start stripping away the time that you were given to everybody else, given to everything else, and you start giving it to yourself. This is when you find source. This is when you figure out that God was never anywhere to be found. He was never outside of you. It was never a journey outside of you. It was a journey back to who you are. It was a journey back within your own self, within your own consciousness, right? God's been present within you this whole time, right? Always listening, always loving unconditionally, and always reflecting your beliefs right back at you perfectly, being the perfect reflection. If you do not hear the divine, it's not because the source is not there, or it's because the noise is too loud in your mind. It's because you haven't traveled within, right? Maybe it's too much TV. Maybe it's too much music. Maybe it's too much, gossiping. Maybe it's just too many of other people's thoughts, too much worry, too much anxiety. It's just not enough meditating. Whatever the case may be, if you want to find source, you have to go back within yourself, all right? You spend so long tuning into the external static that you've forgotten how to hear the whisper of God within. That whisper is not loud, but it's true. It doesn't panic, it pulls. It doesn't scream, it sings. And when you silence the noise, it becomes clear. Your greatest manifestation is not a car or a house or an applause. It is the reclamation of your mind. It is reclaiming your mind, your consciousness, so that God can speak through you again, uninterrupted. Right? This is always a journey to yourself. Right? You come into this space because you want a person back, or you want a car, or you want some money, but the journey is always leading you to yourself. You are consciousness. Your only job is to be conscious of something. And we spend most of our life being conscious to everything else, right? We end up being conscious to the music, conscious to the media, conscious to circumstances in our life, conscious to everything outside of us when those things are just projections, right? Everything comes from within you. The kingdom is within you, right? So the only thing for you to be conscious of is yourself. This is it. Right? The process is always leading you back to you. The kingdom is within you, and everything is the kingdom, right? This is why Jesus said, if you believe that heaven is in the sky, you'll think the birds are closer to you, right? When we think anything is outside of ourselves, when we think there's validation out there, right? When we think that there's love out there, when we think that we'll find our worthiness out there, we'll find our purpose out there. Whenever we are searching out there, there's nothing to find, right? All we see is ourselves, because that's all it is a reflection of you. It isn't until you go within that you find God, all right? Reclaim your mind. Take time with your mind, all right? Because this is what you'll realize. You come on this journey, you try to manifest these things, and it isn't until you take your mind off of those things and you focus on yourself, right? Now, I'm not saying to drop your desire completely, but when you stop focusing and looking around saying, okay, man, are there signs that everything is coming? And you look within and you say, I have changed, so I am the sign. And I am just going to be conscious of who I am being. And you turn all of your attention back to yourself. This is when the miracles start flowing. This is when you start to hear the Most High clearly and realize, damn, God has always been here. Source has always been within me whispering. I've just been focused on everything else. Right? I thought the external circumstances were going to show me that I was doing everything right, but it's the God within me showing me that I'm doing everything right. Right? And how does he show me? By my faith. Your faith is the substance. It is when you can turn within and you have faith and you say, I am doing this right. I am who I say I am. I am that I am. And reality must change because I have changed. This is when everything changes. Not a moment sooner. As long as you are looking outside, you will never find God out there. Ever. You won't find God in another person. You won't find God in a job. You won't find God in anything out there. God is within you. The kingdom is within you. Huh? So practical steps. Let's get back to some practical steps to actually detox your mind. All right. So number one is going to be silence, meditation. If you want to get in tune with source, right, meditate. Right. I've often heard the quote that prayers when you speak to the Most High, right, and meditation is when you listen. I don't know if I agree with that, right? Because prayer, every single thought that you have is prayer. Right? Your meditation is just when you go within, when you tap in, right? So you can listen, right? You can listen to source when you are meditating, but you can also speak, right? Take 10 to 20 minutes, and the technique that I would tell y'all is don't go into meditation trying to get anything. All right, because especially if you're on this manifestation journey, most people will go into their meditation. Their primary focus is visualizing what they want, right? As if this is work, as if you are trying to clarify some picture to the source that is you. God already knows what you want. The divine already knows what you want. You are within the divine the same way the divine is within you, right? You thought the thought. You thinking something is the same as source putting that within you. You having a desire is the same as source putting that desire within you. All right? This is just your ego that thinks it has to clarify something to God. All right? But go to your meditation. Set a timer for 20, 30 minutes. Right? And release, just detach your need to know what you are doing. Allow your body and your mind to do what it does. Simply submit to the process. Simply focus on your breathing and allow your body, your soul, and your mind to do what it does. Quiet itself, right? If you find your thoughts are running, bring them back to your breath, right? Or just focus on the dark behind your eyes. One of the two, your breath or the black space behind your eyes, all right? And just breathe and relax for 10, 20 minutes. Don't focus on the things you want. God already knows what you want. You are simply becoming aware of yourself. Consciousness is aware of something, and there is only you. So consciousness needs to be aware of itself. All right? So number two, subtraction journaling. All right? So instead of adding goals, subtract lies. Okay? Write down what you were told to be and consciously let it go. Think about the things that you want to be. Think about the things that people have told you. Right? Start questioning your beliefs. Do I really have this belief, or do I really have this desire? Because it's from me or it's from someone else. Do I want to keep this? Some of you are holding on to desires because you think it's going to make your parents proud. Ask yourself, do I really want this desire? Or do I just want to make my parents proud? That's a desire in itself. Right? And they'll be proud of you right now just because you are their children. However, what you are doing is you're creating this expectation. This, if I do this, then you are making yourself conditional. And God can never be conditional. Source can never be conditional. Right? You already have what you want. You have to accept those things. All right, so number two is going to be subtraction journaling. Start actually challenging your beliefs. Is this belief really aligned with what I want? Does this desire really align with what I want? Start removing them. Addition by subtraction. Number three, conscious consumption. Start auditing your media. Okay? Do you find yourself bonding with people over bullshit? Bonding over trauma? Bonding over your hatred for somebody who does not even know you? If you catch yourself doing this, it might be time for you to do a little bit of auditing on your consumption. If you and your homegirl, you and your homeboy can sit down and talk about somebody who does not know you, somebody who's never met you, who wouldn't care if you lived or died, and y'all can bond over talking about them for an hour, it might be time to do a little bit of audit on what you're consuming. Right? Because that negativity is not hurting them. It is simply hurting you. It's simply pulling your consciousness down. Right? Forgive others so your Father in heaven can forgive you. right? Meaning the way that we see people, they're going to constantly show up for us like that. Meaning, if you do not like someone, if you believe that if you believe that you are a victim to this person does things that influence you negatively. What's going to happen, right, is you are going to consciously continue to see them. And because of your expectation, they will have to show up in your world in a way that makes you see them negatively, right? They'll have to continue to give you opportunities not to like them. This is just the nature of consciousness, right? You can say, oh, I have to live in reality if you want, but I am not going to argue with you for your limitations, all right? Affirmations of self-authority, all right? Speak affirmations. Anytime you catch yourself saying something that is against what you want to experience, all right? If you catch yourself once, you have to say 10 affirmations that are positive against that right now, right? If you catch yourself spiraling and you look at the clock and you're like, damn, I've probably been doing this for 5 minutes. Now, times 10, you have 50 minutes of positive affirmations, right? Either the world is going to program you or you are going to program yourself. Take control of your consciousness, all right? And so I'm going to wrap this up because it's getting a little late, right? So Isaiah 43, 18 to 19. Do not remember the former things. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. You can't manifest the new while running on old code. You must reboot, reset, and renew. Every thought is a prayer. Y'all, every thought is a prayer. Whatever you say in the Father's name will be given to you. Okay, if the Father's name is I am, anything that you claim to be, when you use the statement I am, consciously or unconsciously, is a prayer. Everything that we say is a declaration of who we are. Everything is. Every word is a prayer. Every thought is a prayer. Right? And it's all coming from where? It's all coming from within the temple. You are the temple of the Most High. All right? Be conscious of everything. All right? Every thought is a prayer. Every belief is a prophecy. So choose wisely what you repeat. You are not just a thinker. You are a creator. And the universe responds not to what you want, but to what you believe. So clear the cache, reclaim your code, and manifest what is truly yours. All right? I'm getting tired. Been stumbling over words this whole time, man. So I'm going to leave y'all with some affirmations. Let y'all have a beautiful, beautiful evening. I appreciate y'all for joining as always, right? Y'all are divine. You are divine. You are source. You are nothing less than source, right? You are prosperity. You are perfection. You are in alignment with everything that you want. You could never be anything less than worthy because that is who you are, okay? Everything is unfolding from within you in a divine and beautiful way. Everything is for you. This is your only job. Look out in reality. Say, I have what I want, and everything is working out for you. If it looks like it isn't, take a deep breath and say, I know that this is still working out for me. I know that this is beautifully unfolding perfectly towards my desires. And sometimes the mirror just looks a little funky. Sometimes the mirror looks backwards, but it's all reflecting beautifully towards where I need to go. All right. Y'all have a beautiful, beautiful night. I see you all as prosperous and divine, as gods and goddesses. If you do not feel that way, it's cool because I see you as that way anyway. So I know that it must be true. Right? I know that it must be true. Today is the best day ever. This is the best, most beautiful, most perfect moment ever because it is the only moment that exists. This moment right here makes up your entire future, your entire reality, right? Use it wisely. Use it beautifully, all right? Talk to y'all tomorrow, all right? Y'all have a beautiful, beautiful evening, all right? Peace. Hold up, sis.